So I want to talk to you about what it takes to raise great kids. And I'm not saying that I've been able to raise great, amazing kids. My kids are awesome. I love them. Andrew and Chloe, to me, are the apple of my eye. They are good human beings and they have great friends. And I want to let you know through my experience and through experiences that I've seen other people raise their kids on what I think the problem is and what I think the solution can be to raising great kids. So let's get started. Now, listen, here's the deal. If our goal is to leave our kids in a better state than we were raised in as parents, that means we have to do things differently, right? We have to do things differently. And so it's not just about how we raise our sons and daughters, but it's also about how we raise ourselves. And you may come from trauma, you may come from abuse, you may come from a low-income family, you may come from getting bullied, whatever it is. Hurt people hurt people. And so if you are someone that comes from trauma, from hurt, from adversity, and you haven't healed yourself, odds are you are going to pass that hurt along to your children. And so that is what we're going to talk about here. Before we break down like, okay, what's the difference between raising a daughter and raising a son? There's like a core foundational thing that you, mom and dad, need to do. So we talked about you first raising yourself, developing yourself into the best possible version of who you are, right? And that is overcoming your pain, overcoming your fears, overcoming your doubts, overcoming the trauma, healing from past hurts. Because without you being whole, how can you pour into your kids? What you're going to pour into them is what you already are. Anxious, depressed, fearful, overweight, low income, always struggling to make ends meet. You don't want to pass along a curse. What you want to do is leave them better than you were left by the generation that raised you and I. I think that's how I kind of always viewed it is I'm going to raise my kids. I'm going to pour into my kids in a way that my mom and dad never poured into me, because no one wants to be a hypocrite. You don't want to be a hypocrite and say, well, do as I say, not as I do. Your words are never as loud as your example of your physique, of the lifestyle that you live. And so you got to understand that it starts with the core foundation. And the core foundation is this. Number one, you've got to set values. What are the core values that you and your family want to live by? You got to get together with your spouse and set the core values. Like, how do we want to live? What do we want to be known for? Like, what are the fundamental truths about this family? So once you develop your core values for your family, you also have to set the standard of living those core values. Like you, mom and dad, have to be the example of living those core values. There's no other way to say it. The do as I say, not as I do thing doesn't work. You're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite if you do that. So once you have your core values and you set the standard by you living that life, then the next step is you can set the expectations. Because if we have the core values and I'm actually living that standard of core values, I can now expect you, set expectations, I can expect you as my child to live that, right? I'm going to demonstrate what a healthy relationship is. I'm going to demonstrate what love is. Hey guys, quick interruption to the Bedros Keuilian show. I want to remind you about the Keuilian Wellness Shot. I created the Keuilian Wellness Shot because I wanted a product that was going to help you boost your immune system and fight off inflammation in your gut, in your joints, in your body, so that you are healthy, you don't get sick, and you live an awesome life. Keuilian Wellness Shots have these 9 ingredients that are going to absolutely help fight off inflammation and boost your immune system. Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, ginger, turmeric, echinacea, B12, cayenne pepper, and black pepper. And every single packet is checked for heavy metals because our ingredients are top quality and we use nothing but top quality because we cut no corners. So you can use my name, Bedros, at Keuilian.com and get 50% off your Keuilian Tribe subscription. You not only get 50% off your first order, you also get free shipping. You get a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee, so that if you don't like the product for some reason, which we have yet to meet anyone who don't like the product, we will give you your money back, no questions asked, and we will shake hands and part ways as friends. And of course, $1 of every order goes to Shriners Children's Hospital, which is a hospital system that I've been helping and supporting for over 12 years. They provide medical procedures, medical services, surgeries to children whose families can't afford these procedures. So go to Keuilian.com, use code word Bedros, join the Keuilian Tribe. You get 50% off your first order and then 20% off your recurring monthly orders after that. Back to the show. So What are some of the ways that you can maybe start leading your daughter? So let's talk about the daughters first, and then we'll get into the sons after. And a lot of this is transferable to sons and daughters, but I kind of broke it down into sections. How about this? Be involved in their lives, like actually take interest. And men, I'm talking to you specifically right now, like actually take interest. Like, yeah, but they're into dolls and they're into kid stuff, like girl stuff, and I don't know it. Figure it out. Pretend. Take interest in their music. Take interest in their toys. Take interest in their school. Take interest in their friend group. Because to them, their friend group is their world. Like, remember the friends' names. Remember what they're into. You're like, yeah, but I'm so tired. Shut the fuck up. You try and remember the stats of your favorite athlete on a football team, basketball team, baseball team. You know the stats. You know their fucking number. You know how much they get paid. You know how long their fucking contract is. Don't tell me you have a hard time remembering your kids' friends' names and what they're into. You are not just prioritizing. That's the problem. You have a priority issue. You don't have a memory issue. You have a priority issue. You also have to encourage and model the traditional values that you want. Because if you're asking that of them, but you're not literally modeling traditional values, then how are they going to see it in action? And you can model that, what a healthy relationship is. And if you can instill confidence in them, how do you instill confidence? Teach them to stack wins. If you're willing to do that, they will gain confidence. They will gain self-esteem. And if you're willing to draw the line at certain places with them, yes, be friendly. Yes, go on a date. Yes, roughhouse with them. Yes, I've roughhoused with my daughter and my son. I never once treated Chloe differently because she's a girl. Yes, I took her out on dates. Yes, her mom and I taught her how to carry herself as a lady, the expectations she should have from a young man. And if that young man does not meet those standards and expectations, to walk away, to call me, call Andrew, we'll come pick her up. And it's such a good feeling to see that confidence in her, to see that she doesn't live in a state of anxiety, a state of depression, that she's not popping pills. And so I'm telling you as a parent, and you're like, whoa, what if we're not together? What if me and the spouse are not together and we're divorced? Guess what? You may not be able to control what your spouse is teaching her. You certainly can control what you are teaching her, what you are role modeling to her. And you don't have to throw the spouse under the bus. You just have to be a shining example of good humanity. And so don't for a moment use a divorce as a cop-out of why you can't be there for your child. Now, what about the sons? I'm a big believer in Jack Donovan's book entitled The Way of Men. And everything that I shared here about daughters really applies to your sons as well. Put them in sports, put them in combatives, make sure that they understand music, play some kind of music, get involved in their life, take interest in it. And arguably, I'd have to admit that I have more things in common with Andrew than I have with Chloe. I want to be as involved in his life and in my daughter's life as possible. And when you do, there's a commonality, a connection, and they feel respected. And when your child feels respected and heard, and that is the magic here. They need to feel respected. They need to feel heard. They need to be given boundaries. They need to be given standards and expectations. And so, yes, sometimes you have to be firm with them. And you have to be the constant, mom and dad. You have to be the constant. Our kids are going to have ebb and flow in their energy. Doesn't matter if they're tiny or if they're teens. They're going to have an ebb and flow in their mood, in their energy. You are the adult. You are the example. You are the example. And if you can do that, then you're literally helping them wire their brain into being consistent even when their emotions are ebbing and flowing, right? Now, I've said this before, and this pisses off a lot of the feminist women out there, but moms turn babies into boys, but it is the dads that turn those boys into men. And gentlemen, it is your responsibility, dads. It is your responsibility and duty to instill honor, strength, courage, mastery, core values into your son. It is your responsibility to give him a rite of passage into manhood. It is not the mom's responsibility. The mom's responsibility is to nurture and love and raise that baby into a boy, but it is your responsibility to turn that boy into a man. And if you absolve that to someone else, the school system, you absolve that to somebody else, then they will go and become passive-aggressive little bitches. You know that to be true. I think in many ways, today, the modern society, we have a more difficult time raising sons who are providers, protectors, who are confident and capable, who can be savage and servant. And so if you understand that, then you have to understand that it is our job to raise strong men, courageous men, confident men, honorable men, men who can develop mastery. But it is also our job, moms and dads, to raise women, like turn these young girls who have been brainwashed by the feminist movement and therefore hate their life. That's the weird thing, is they are brainwashed by the feminist movement and then they hate their lives because they've stepped into this masculine role that they don't want, this masculine energy, and they're looking for masculine men. But when they get masculine men, they don't know how to be because they're so stuck in that masculine energy. They're afraid to let go of the steering wheel and hand it over to this guy who says, I truly confidently want to lead myself and you as a family unit. And it's so sad, it breaks my heart, because they'll find what they're looking for, but they don't know how to let go of control and step into their natural feminine energy. And so it starts off with you healing. It starts off with you developing. It starts off with you becoming an example and then raising two great and amazing humans, because that is the only way we're going to save this country. And if our goal is to not only save this country, but to also raise great kids that are full of confidence, self-worth, self-esteem, capable, anxiety and depression free, then guess what? It's worth doing the work, isn't it? As a mom, as a dad, as a parent, as a role model, as an example. And so what do we do from here? We start pouring into them. We realize that we're not here to make friends with our children. We can be friends with them, but we are here to first set core values, set the standard and live the standard ourselves, set the expectation and expect them to live the standard, and then become the human boundaries for them. Call them out when they need to be called out, draw the line when the line needs to be drawn out, and then share their life experiences, take part in their interests, actually actively listen and put your phone down. And if you do that, friends, I dare say that we will raise great children who will become great humans and leaders, and they will save this wonderful country of ours.